Professional English vocabulary. Color psychology in graphic design. Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss one of the most powerful tools in a designer's toolkit, color psychology in graphic design. Think about it. Graphic design is basically the art of visual communication and storytelling. It's a creative way to solve a human problem or meet a specific need using pictures, words, and art. The main goal is to send a message effectively to a certain group of people, target audience, so that the design achieves its intended purpose. For example, promoting a brand and its products or services. Graphic design uses several important parts to tell its story. Basic elements of art. These are the building blocks, especially color, lines, shapes, form and space. The actual design or object is called positive space. The empty area around or between the object is called negative space or white space. Using negative space well is important for making the design look clean and easy to read. Typography. This refers to the fonts you use. The choice of font is crucial for how the message is understood. Imagery. This includes images, like photos or illustrations, and iconography, small pictures or symbols, like a house icon for home. All these elements are carefully organized on the page layout, the surface or canvas where the design is created. Color, also called hue, is one of the most powerful elements in visual communication. The colors we choose aren't just decorative. They are deeply tied to emotion and human perception. Designers use color to create a specific mood, draw the viewer's attention to important parts, and help organize information clearly. Color is not something that exists on its own. It is a perception created in our minds. The thing that allows us to see color is light. When light reflects off an object, our eyes perceive it as a specific color. We can see millions of colors, but we only have names for a small number of them. The number of color names and where the color boundaries are placed can change depending on the language and culture. For example, some cultures group both blue and green under a single word. In situations where people from different cultures meet, differences in how they see and name colors can sometimes cause mistakes, miscommunications. Most color names in English come from the natural world. A professional designer may use a vocabulary of hundreds or even thousands of specific color names. This allows them to communicate subtle color differences that would be unclear in everyday talk. Using these precise names is essential to keep their work accurate. Color psychology looks at how colors create a physical or emotional feeling and change human behavior. It is a very powerful tool for industries that use visual storytelling to get a certain reaction from people who see their work. Warm colors, like red, orange, and yellow, create feelings of excitement and energy. They can actually stimulate your metabolism and increase your appetite, heart rate, and blood pressure. Cold colors, such as green, blue, and purple, have the opposite effect. They are known for being very soothing and calming. They also bring up feelings of freshness and tranquility. Neutral colors, gray, brown, black, and white, create a sense of balance, order, and simplicity. They often act as supporting colors, especially in backgrounds. Because neutral colors are not distracting, they help make the other brighter colors shine. Color is a powerful subconscious messenger, but its meaning changes completely depending on where you are in the world. Let's see some examples. White. In the Western world, it symbolizes purity, peace, cleanliness, and innocence. It is often associated with weddings. However, it is the primary color for funerals and mourning in many parts of Asia and Africa. It is an unlucky color associated with death. Red. It elicits feelings of love, passion, danger, and warning. It is associated with Christmas. Also, it is the most favorable and important color for weddings, festivals, and the New Year in much of Asia. It means luck, prosperity, fertility, and happiness. Orange. It suggests energy, warmth, enthusiasm, and affordability. It is associated with autumn, harvest festivals, and Halloween. In Asian countries, saffron orange means sacredness, spirituality, courage, and sacrifice. It is the color of the robes worn by Buddhist monks and Hindu holy men. In Egypt, orange is a color for funerals and mourning. In the Middle East, saffron orange is linked with high status and value. Yellow. It represents happiness, optimism, intellect, and caution or cowardice. It is associated with spring. Historically, pure yellow was reserved for the emperor and high religious figures in many East Asian nations. It is associated with imperial power, royalty, wealth, sacredness, and divinity. Also, this color is associated with mourning in Mexico. Brown. It means humility, stability, security, tradition, earthiness. It is associated with winter. Too much brown suggests sadness and emptiness. Globally, brown means fertility, stability, and connection to the earth, especially in indigenous and African cultures. In China, it is associated with farmers and poverty. Blue. It symbolizes trust, stability, calmness, intelligence, and masculinity. Also, it is linked with sadness and depression. Blue is used extensively in architecture and amulets in the Middle East and Greece. In these cultures, it is associated with healing and protection against magic and the evil eye. In contrast, blue is associated with mourning and illness in some parts of Latin America. Cyan. It represents modern ideas like digital technology and innovation, but also feelings of clarity, freedom, and renewal. In other cultures, cyan symbolizes water, the sky, and infinity. Interpreted as a lighter, brighter shade of blue, it is associated with healing and protection against magic and the evil eye. Green. It represents nature, freshness, luck, wealth, but also greed and envy. It has a strong association with St. Patrick's Day festivities. Green is the most significant religious color in Islam, symbolizing the Prophet and the gardens of paradise. In China, wearing a green hat carries a highly negative connotation of infidelity and public humiliation. It is a taboo gift and should never be given to a man. Pink. A lighter, softer version of red, pink means femininity, romance, and gentleness. It is associated with baby girls. It is often seen as a color of marriage, joy, and celebration, particularly in India. In Japan, the color pink is linked with rebellion and counterculture. Purple. It signifies royalty, nobility, wealth, creativity, wisdom and spirituality. Also, independence and arrogance. However, purple is associated with mourning, funeral rites, and widows in parts of Brazil and Thailand. Black. It represents professionalism, power, formality, and elegance. Also, it is associated with mourning, evil, and darkness. Black can symbolize the earth, maturity, wealth, and status in Africa, and it is associated with masculinity, health, and baby boys in parts of China. In Japan, the color black is linked to samurais, wisdom, mystery, and the unknown. Gray. It conveys a sense of neutrality, balance, and maturity, but it can also imply monotony, boredom, or indifference. It often represents modesty, humility, simple living, and traditional aesthetics in cultures like China and Japan. Now, let's explore 3 powerful metallic colors. Gold. It represents luxury, wealth, success, prosperity, and high quality or achievement. It is associated with awards and prestige. Gold is a highly auspicious color across nearly all of Asia. It represents the sun and eternal power. It is associated with royalty, nobility, sacredness, divinity, and victory. Silver. It signifies modernity, science, technology, elegance, and sophistication. It can also evoke feelings of coldness and insincerity. In the Middle East and India, silver is a very precious metal. It has deep cultural and spiritual value for jewelry and ceremonies. Bronze. It is associated with strength, durability, tradition, loyalty, maturity, and the third-place prize. In other cultures, bronze is associated with harvest, stability, and experience. It is a revered metal of deep historical value and tradition, associated with tools and art. Successful design demands careful research and cultural awareness when choosing colors. Designers must always think about what different colors symbolize, who their target audience is, and the wider socio-cultural context. This careful approach ensures the emotional message is delivered in a way that is clear and powerful. Understanding this silent language is key to storytelling, marketing, and connecting with every culture in the world.